DraftKings along with the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East. Since he's second in the AFC North, odds at around 2-1. Pittsburgh is at around 5-1. Louis Riddick, Gerald McCoy, y'all are here. We're going to start off with you, Louis Riddick. Do you believe Pittsburgh will finish third in the AFC North like their odds indicate?
Yeah, I think it's a very high probability. And I think the reason why is for one reason. Look, both of these teams at the very top, when you're talking about Baltimore and you're talking about Cincinnati as far as being favorites, you understand, that they have strengths, they have weaknesses, but the two positions that you don't question on both of those football teams is quarterback. Those are the positions you don't question, especially as long as Joe Burrow stays healthy. You don't question it. In Baltimore, Lamar, he stays healthy, you don't question it. In Pittsburgh, here's the interesting thing about them. They are building a powerhouse, I believe, especially along their line of scrimmage on the offensive side of the football, where these young cats, once they all come together, this team is going to be set up for the future. They have good running backs. They have good compatibility and diversification as far as their wide receivers are concerned, and they're good at tight end. It's the quarterback situation, quite honestly, that as good as Aaron Rodgers has been, would you really take him over Joe? Would you take him over Lamar? No, you wouldn't. You move to the defensive side. Baltimore, pass rush. That is the thing that they have to have answers for. They have playmakers second level, especially in the middle. They have some young pieces in the secondary, especially at safety. Cincinnati revamped their defensive line. Linebacker is the issue. The mistakes as far as the communication piece on their defense. Look, those guys are going to be now in their second years. I think that they're going to be much better on the defensive side of the football. Pittsburgh, same thing. I think what I'm getting at is this. It's the quarterbacks, I think, is really what's going to be the difference maker here.
Okay.
Because both of these teams have their strengths and weaknesses that can kind of cancel one another out. But look, Aaron's just not on Lamar's level. He's not on Joe's level at this point. That's why you have to favor those two.
Excellent breakdown. Just be quicker. You're taking too long.
Well, it's a lot of information, man. That's a lot of information.
We're getting to you right now. We're getting to you right now before we get to Doggy. I'll say this to you, Gerald McCoy. I'm thinking about their defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham. He's new, but you got to remember his 3 stops: Dolphins, Giants, Raiders. It was pretty average. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, you got a new defensive coordinator that Mike McCarthy picked. That defense was like 26 last year, despite the money that they paid. That's my concern about the Pittsburgh Steelers. What's yours?
For me, I feel like sitting right at 3 is perfect for them because you have the top 2 teams that should be the top 2 teams. By the way, I believe the Cincinnati Bengals is the team to beat in that division.
Wow.
Simply because look at the other 3 teams, all new head coaches. And I think about back to the Bucs. When they got Tom Brady, they had Bruce Arians, new head coach. They had the talent in place. But what they didn't have is what the Saints had, an established quarterback that has been with that head coach. And if you look at how that season went, it took them time to get going. The Saints won that division. Yes. The Bucs ended up winning the Super Bowl, but the division winner was the Saints because it took the Bucs too much time. So if you sit here and look at where the Pittsburgh Steelers sit, at 3 it's perfect because the Cleveland Browns have a first-time head coach in Todd Monken, and they're trying to figure out the quarterback position. So they went young, and they have a first-time head coach. I feel like the Steelers can be third just off that alone.
Yep. Well, number one, Pittsburgh is only 8.5 Vegas over-under, which to me is too low, and Cincinnati.
Get ready for a thrilling ride in the AFC North, where the Steelers are poised to make a statement. I'm convinced they'll finish third in the division, and here's why. The top dogs, the Ravens and Bengals, are evenly matched, with strengths and weaknesses that cancel each other out. But when it comes down to it, the quarterback showdown will be the deciding factor. Aaron Rodgers is a legendary quarterback, but he can't quite match the brilliance of Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow. The Steelers are building a powerhouse, with a formidable line of scrimmage on the offensive side. They've got talented running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends, but the quarterback conundrum is holding them back. They're a good team, but they just can't seem to break through the ceiling. That's why I think they'll finish third in the division. Now, you might be thinking, but what about the Bengals and their rising star, Joe Burrow? The Bengals are indeed a force to be reckoned with, but they still trail behind the Ravens, who boast a more established quarterback in Lamar Jackson and a rock-solid defense. The Ravens have a more well-rounded team, and that's what will give them the edge in the division. The Steelers, on the other hand, are a team on the rise. They've got a young, talented core of players and are building a strong foundation. All they need is to find a quarterback who can lead them to victory and surround him with more talented players. I think they'll get there, but for now, TH. Ewell finish third in the AFC North. The Ravens and Bengals are just too strong, with too many talented players. The Ravens have Lamar Jackson, a dynamic force to be reckoned with, a strong defense, and a seasoned coach in John Harbaugh. The Bengals have Joe Burrow, a young and talented quarterback, and a good core of players. But the Steelers are closing the gap, and I think they'll make a run in the division soon. The key to the Steelers' success lies in their ability to build a strong team around their quarterback. They need to find a leader who can make plays and inspire the team to victory. With their young core of players, they've got a good start, but they need to add more talent to the mix. I think they'll get there, and when they do, watch out AFC North. The question on everyone's mind is, can the Steelers find a way to get a good quarterback and build a strong team around him? I think the answer is yes, but it'll take time. They need to find a way to attract more talented players and build a team that can compete with the likes of the Ravens and Bengals. But I've got no doubt they'll get there, and when they do, they'll be a team to watch in the future. For now, though, I think they'll finish third in the AFC North.